But lastly, I do agree on the point about how, yes, in order to form a nation, you are going to have to force conformity. So you see this in places like in France, for instance, they have areas that were fought, in like 14th century or something. It was like English territory and then it was French territory. And they fought like 100 years war over these areas. And now it's firmly within France. They have places where people, their families fought for like, I don't know, Germany in like World War I, and then like in World War II, they're fighting for France, and they were in the same spot. And it's just like little lines moving. So you will get to a point when, I'll stick on the French context. They have at times crushed small dialects or small languages spoken in a bunch of different places, made it actually illegal in order to force that sort of conformity. And we do see that in many different countries. But yeah, anyways, I'm kind of like spiraling out, so I don't want to.
No, it's okay. I think it's quite interesting what you're saying. But the thing, okay, we have a very different. It's a pity that Toby went out. We have a big difference between the old nations in Europe or old countries that are a bit everywhere in the world, and these new neo-colonial nations like Australia, the US, most of South America. Yeah. Don't piss off
the Americans. There is two of them here.
Yeah, South Americans. Oh no, North Americans here. They are here. No South Americans, unfortunately. And it's quite interesting. I think you guys will get a bit dispersed by these two words I'm going to say because they are used on the everyday life. I'm going to use them in the academic sense, which are two ways that politicians try to theorize how to create this new idea of societies where many people live together. And they called it cosmopolitanism, but don't forget the word how it's used nowadays. Cosmopolitanism and multiculturalism. So cosmopolitanism is what's happening in France now. You see, you have all these people coming in, and as long as they respect our values, they are welcome. But they have to respect our values. They should not question the way we do things. So we are always superior, but you can't come.
Like killing people in the street?
Like killing people on the street when they don't conform with the idea, of course. And then you have multiculturalism. This is the solution of the left most of the times. So multiculturalism is that everybody should come in, but you see people, and you want everybody, you are very welcome, you're very open-minded, but as long as you see the other, like they don't try to integrate. They don't want you to integrate. They just want to see you like exotic piece of society that you can open the door or your window and see from the other side. Yeah. So they are both as hypocritical. They don't have any intention of being humane. They always see the other either as exotic or so. Or they can expose themselves, but always in the exotic sense, don't integrate. And the other ones, they don't want to see them. They want to hide them. That's cosmopolitanism. And then we have the Portuguese variants, and Voz do Povo will be very mad at me, which is the Portuguese made sexual violence, and they procreated with everybody. And then there was the Creole. They came mixed people. And they came out and they were speaking both language, and they were great because you lost the problem of diversity. You're part of diversity. You cannibalize diversity. There is something even very interesting in Brazil. They call themselves cultural cannibalizers. They eat the others. Oh, you are interesting? Let's be a part of us. This is a very humane, it's violent as well, but it's a more interesting way of solving the problems throughout sex. And works quite well, actually. It makes beautiful people.
Wow. Can you add some scholarship here? Or someone else?
Go on, David.
Yeah, because identity is extremely complicated an issue. So, so is nationhood. And, then God forbid you have, you're just bringing up the matter of race or ethnicity related to the identity. But I mean, a few issues related to the immigration and multiculturalism. Like, I'm here in Detroit, in America, and you would think, well, what do you assimilate to? What do you integrate into? And so you have different things like, okay, the language, the legal system, and the culture. So when you come to America, you'll say like there's African American culture, and African Americans dominate most of the major cities along the East Coast. And so when you immigrate to America, you're most likely to immigrate into some form we'll call African American culture. You're most likely to move to a place where whites are already the minority, and what they call whites in American, whatever the group of people that would be included into whites. But no matter where you're coming from, China, Africa, South America, Mexico, you're likely to come to the urban area, and it's already multicultural, and so the demographic change has already changed. It's the same case in many countries in Europe. So like when migrants come, they move to places where it's mostly people that are similar to them, and there is no integration process.
But in UK,
I mean, you're never going to be a migrant that is going to come to.
But David.
Going to come
Look,
to
in UK, they're gonna send you up. In UK, you're gonna send you up north.
Yeah, but David,
So,
let's see this. Like I when I talked about cosmopolitanism, multiculturalism, I was thinking about when societies in Europe, but also the States, in the 60s and 80s were having a huge economical boom, and they needed people. And how do you deal with after the Second World War, when you exterminate almost your neighbors because they were different? How do you deal with this situation? And now you're telling me all this stuff. It's very interesting, but tell me, how do the politicians deal with the fact that corporations need migrants in order to keep the country working? We know that people are needed on the welfare, on the agricultural business, on the tourism business, and so on. These works that nobody wants to do, but they are very important for the society to keep working, especially in societies that are aging. So you're telling me, okay, integration, but there is a big part of
there's
society.
no integration anymore at this point.
No, there is no integration. It doesn't matter. The point is
you
that
come to an urban area that's already multicultural, and most immigrants move to the area where, so to say, their representative place where they come from is the majority, and there's really nothing to integrate into besides for multiculturalism. And then maybe after a period, you might decide to move to a rural place.
How do you would like this situation to be solved? How do you see? Do you want these? You need these people. You need these people. You need these people. And how do you place them in your mind? They are very cute people that live there and sell peritos, or they are people that look like they conform. As long as they are there, but you don't see it. How do you prefer? Do you prefer them to be there and you don't see it? Or do you like them to see them there selling peritos and dancing chica-chacas? I don't know. How do you prefer it to be?
It doesn't matter what I prefer.
In your mind.
I'm just trying to add some academic or intellectual backgrounds.